Delta Golf carried on flying after the 14 production aircraft had been delivered to the airlines in the late 1970s. Work included further performance enhancements, such as the certification of the redesigned air intake profile. 2 hours later than was originally planned, the forward and rear fuselage arrives. Even this former supersonic aircraft hasn't been able to beat the M4 and M25 traffic jams. Large banners on the side of Delta Golf read, "Concorde returns to Brooklands." But her late arrival and the rain hasn't deterred a large crowd of Concorde enthusiasts from gathering to watch her being unloaded near another famous aircraft, the Wellington bomber. 84-year-old Beck Parsons has fond memories of the Concorde project at the Weybridge site.
I started here after the war with Vickers Armstrong. I've worked on every project, every aircraft. There was a production manager, general production manager, and about 3 assistants. I was one of them on this Concorde project. All the electrics were done here and coiled up in there, right for the whole aeroplane, and they're all built on a rig, and they were coiled up in the back of this and delivered to either Aerospatial or Filton.
In 1956, the Supersonic Transport Aircraft Committee sat for the first time and began discussing seriously the possibility of building a supersonic airliner. A supersonic wind tunnel was built in the Vickers Armstrong Research and Development Department's balloon hangar at Brooklands. Separate design and feasibility studies were later made in Britain and France, and on the 10th of July 1961, the second Anglo-French supersonic transport meeting was held at the newly created BAC in Weybridge to discuss the future collaboration on a new supersonic airliner, later to be named Concorde. On the 29th of November 1962, agreement between the British and French governments was made for the joint design, development and manufacture of a supersonic civil aircraft. A year later, Sir George Edwards, formerly Executive Director of Aircraft at BAC, was appointed chairman. Watching Delta Golf's return is Sir George's daughter, Angela Jeffreys.
He would be absolutely thrilled, really thrilled. He worked at Brooklands for a large part of his life, and he would have been simply delighted that one had managed to come back here. He died just 12 months ago, so it was just before the Concordes were grounded, which was perhaps just as well.
Delta Golf is now unloaded onto wooden props. In June, Concorde's centre fuselage will have arrived, which could cause its own logistical problems. But for now, it's time to take photographs and enjoy the museum's newest acquisition. Alongside the front fuselage are other parts, including the Brooklands-built tail cone section and a droop nose assembly used for fatigue testing. Volunteer Glenn Ridgway was involved with the nose cone hydraulics for Concorde.
The nose section was a bit that was built here at Weybridge, but I never went there. I went to Bristol and done some work down there, but I wasn't there long, and then I went to Farnborough, where we had a complete Concorde structure there. There was nothing internally in it, and it was put in a big shroud, and it was heated up and cooled down, and the idea was that it would simulate a flight from London to New York in about 3/4 of an hour. And then once this was working, it was going all the time, continuously, to get a certain number of indicated flights in.
Both 201 and 202 undoubtedly played an important role in the Concorde project, paving the way for the granting of airworthiness certification and providing extensive route-proving information. Test pilot Peter Baker carried out the flights leading to the grant of the initial Civil Airworthiness Certificate for Concorde.
Most of the tests you do on CFA renewal are looking at, I suppose you'd say, emergency conditions. Firstly, you look at its performance. You measure its climb performance, although I think there's a talk of not doing that any longer. Then you take it right through its whole routine of flying. We used to fly, as they take out of London Airport, we'd do a flight of about 4.5 hours. We went down about Abeam, Lisbon, doing engine relights, simulating failures of the cabin, seeing the oxygen dropout worked, that all the other failure systems in the airplane worked. Take it to its slow speed end, stall it, and take it out to its maximum speed and beyond its maximum speed to see all the safety devices and the devices that are supposed to prevent you exceeding speed are working. That's what you're really doing, is things that don't normally get operated in normal flight, really, you're looking at to see that they're all working.